Casting the Runes. 4 short vignettes. I have to get home quick, Danny thought. My parents will kill me if they find I was out at 4 in the morning. At 18 years old, Danny was tired of her parents' rules, but she knew better than to flaunt them openly. And so she snuck out of the house after dark to hook up with Jay. Jay, who was now sound asleep, as Danny made her way through the haunted Luffert Woods. They said the woods were haunted as a young woman was murdered there, torn to pieces years ago, and supposedly a number of people had gone missing there as well. Danny had always given the woods a wide berth, but the path through them was the quickest way home. And it was 4:13 a.m. She had to take it. Ouch! Danny had stubbed her toe on something. What, a tree root? A rock? Teach me to wear flip-flops rather than sneakers. As she paused to rub her sore toe, Danny heard a noise from somewhere behind her. Was someone else in the woods with her? Danny stared into the darkness. What was that? A flash of white. Was it the moon? No, it was nothing. Nothing she could see clearly. Danny continued down the path, hurrying now. Was it starting to get light out? Hurrying while trying not to trip. But she hadn't gone very far when she heard it again, a slight rustling noise, as if something was moving through the bushes. Danny stared into the darkness. Was there really something there? She could make out a patch of gray. Was there someone or something standing there? Danny slipped off her flip-flops and began to walk barefoot in case she had to run. Oh, why did I have to sneak out tonight? And Jay, he could have come with me. The Luffert Woods had gone completely still. Quiet. Too quiet. And then a twig snapped. Danny turned, sure there was something there. Hello? In the dead quiet, her voice sounded really loud and really scared. A tree stood along the side of the path, not far from where she stood. And as she watched, a long, thin white hand with incredibly long nails or claws curved around the tree trunk, followed by the appearance of a white, bullet-shaped head with glowing pink eyes, and then a white humanoid stepped out onto the path and was staring at her. Danny turned and ran, wetting her jeans in sheer terror. She took a quick glance over her shoulder and... Danny was never found. What are the night floaters? Floating heads, aka night floaters or floaters, are an anomalous phenomena reported from various places in Canada and throughout North America. The name refers to the ability of certain individuals to detach their heads from the trunks of their bodies, the heads then being able to fly or float at will. They are said to attack unsuspecting victims, biting them and sometimes even killing them. Back in '89, John was home from university for the summer. He heard there was to be a bush party out at the old silo off the 4th line, so he decided to check it out. There was sure to be someone he knew there. John knew better than to take a car out there, where the ground was little better than a rough farm field, and so he decided to hoof it, the train tracks being the quickest and most direct route. It was a warm evening in early August, a perfect night for a walk, and Sirius the Dog Star was already visible in the twilight sky. John found his mind wandering, and for some strange reason, he began thinking of the boogeyman. Okay, boogie people of his youth, the night floaters. The night floaters, the disembodied flying heads that would peep in your bedroom window at night, or follow you after dark, or could they kill you? John didn't know, didn't remember. All he knew was that he was terrified of them throughout his childhood, and always kept his curtains closed after dark. John cast a quick look behind him to see if a train might be on the horizon. When, what the hell? He was being trailed by a skinny young woman in cutoffs and tube top and no head. John stopped dead. It must be a trick of the light. She had to have a head. She had to. But she didn't. She was actually headless. Headless and mobile. In fact, she was running now. Running after him. John didn't wait around for an introduction, but took off down the tracks, stifling the urge to yell, and looking behind, only to find she was gaining on him. John thought fast. He was coming to a bend in the tracks where he would be out of sight of his pursuer. Although, how she could see him or follow him without eyes, without a head, he didn't know or care. He just wanted to get away. North of the tracks lay an abandoned field of weeds and waist-high grass, and John dived in and hid himself, crouching low to the ground. From his hiding place, he watched the headless woman hurry past and disappear out of sight. John continued to crouch in his hiding place, nerving himself to return to the tracks and head for home. No partying for him tonight. But John suddenly had the creepy feeling he was being watched. Slowly, he turned his head to find another head, a female head, floating in midair and staring at him with reddish glowing eyes. It had a thin, pale, acne-scarred face with chapped grayish lips, and as John started back in horror, it suddenly swung towards him, butting heads with him. John cried out in pain, and then the thing kissed him, darting a slimy tongue into his mouth. He drew back in disgust, and the head bit off his nose. When John's corpse was eventually discovered, it was so badly decomposed, no cause of death could ever be ascertained. P.S. The night floaters are also known for their ability to animate their bodies. Animate their bodies minus their heads. Roman woke up in the wee small hours of the morning. "What time is it?" he mumbled. A voice in the night answered, "It's 4:13 a.m. Being a polite Canadian, Roman automatically said, "Thank you." Then, "What the hell?" You see, Roman was home alone. Warren and Dr. Curious went out for a drive in the car. Sadly, Warren said, "I've run out of M.R. James stories to adapt for YouTube." In answer, Dr. Curious said, "Well, get him to write more." That's impossible, Warren said with some annoyance. He's been dead since 1936. To which Dr. Curious answered, What? Haven't you ever heard of ghost writers? The moral of the story? Leave it to someone with a PhD to figure things out. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here, that's PX here, while the music was the Ghost Processional by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.